The Grand Galactic Council had gathered again, floating above the black sea of stars. The hall was a giant ring of light, filled with hundreds of alien races from every corner of the galaxy. Their voices echoed like thunder in 1,000 languages, all mixed into confusion. They argued about peace, about power, and about trade. But there was something different in the air today. The humans were silent. At the center of the hall stood the human ambassador, a tall figure dressed in a dark uniform marked with the old Earth symbol. His eyes were calm, but his face carried a sadness that every species could feel. The air around him seemed heavy, as if even the universe knew something was about to change. He placed his hands on the crystal podium and spoke in a clear voice that carried through the entire chamber. For centuries, humanity has believed in unity. We have fought beside you, built with you, and tried to bring peace among stars that once only knew war. But now, we see that peace cannot exist where trust no longer lives. The entire chamber fell silent. The sound of his words echoed like the final toll of a bell. An insectoid alien from the Var Dominion hissed, "You cannot leave. You are part of the council. Your departure will bring imbalance." The ambassador looked up, his expression calm but unyielding. "There is already imbalance," he replied softly. "You just refuse to see it." From the upper platform, the Relan speaker, her crystal skin glowing faintly, tried to reason. "Humanity is the bridge between us all. If you walk away, you destroy what we built together." The ambassador's gaze turned toward her, and for a moment it softened. Then perhaps what we built was never strong enough to stand on its own. And with that, he stepped down from the podium. The entire hall watched as he walked down the marble steps, his footsteps echoing in the silence. The lights above dimmed slightly, casting long shadows behind him. No one dared to speak. Some aliens looked away. Others lowered their heads. The once vibrant energy of the council turned into something else. Fear. As the ambassador reached the doors, he stopped. He turned back one last time and said, "Humanity withdraws its hand. From this day we will no longer take part in your council." He pressed his palm on the glowing panel beside the door. The great bronze gates opened slowly, releasing a beam of white light into the chamber. The moment he stepped through, the doors sealed shut behind him with a deep metallic thud that sounded almost like a heartbeat stopping. Outside, the vast blackness of space stretched endlessly. Docked near the council station was the Earth fleet, dozens of massive starships waiting silently. They were not painted with bright colors or banners. They were gray, cold, and calm, like mountains drifting through the void. The ambassador boarded the flagship Soul's Resolve. Inside, officers stood in perfect silence as he entered the command deck. Through the windows, the stars reflected on the metal walls like tiny ghosts of light. "Admiral," said one of the officers quietly, "the council has not sent a pursuit signal yet. Shall we wait for their message?" The ambassador, now revealed as Admiral Marcus Hale, shook his head. "No, they will not send one. They are too proud to admit they lost something they needed." "Then, we are truly leaving?" the young officer asked, his voice trembling slightly. "Yes," Marcus said. "Set the course for Sol Command. Humanity has no place here anymore." The engines began to hum. The fleet aligned in formation, glowing with faint blue light. As they prepared for the jump, Admiral Hale looked out toward the galaxy's heart, where the council's great beacon shined like a false sun. He whispered to himself, "You chose this path." Then the ships vanished in a flash of white light, disappearing into hyperspace. Inside the council chamber, the silence lingered long after their departure. No one moved. The Karth Dominion, a race known for its arrogance, was the first to speak. "Good riddance." Humans were too emotional to rule, but even his voice trembled slightly. From another seat, a soft voice replied, "Without them, who will stop you?" No one answered. Beyond the council's glass walls, the stars shimmered faintly. To those who watched, it almost looked as if the stars themselves were holding their breath, afraid to shine too brightly, afraid to move. The humans had left, and something in the galaxy felt broken. Days passed, and still the silence remained. News spread across systems faster than light. Humanity withdraws from the council. Some celebrated, others panicked. Trade networks slowed down. Treaties started to weaken. And across the borders of alien empires, old enemies began to whisper again. But there was one feeling shared by all: uncertainty. No one knew what humanity would do next. No one knew if they had left for peace, or if they were preparing for something far more dangerous. In the deep void beyond the Council's reach, the human fleet traveled in perfect silence. Inside his ship, Admiral Hale stood before a holographic map of the galaxy. The human territories were small compared to the vast alien empires, yet his eyes carried no fear. "Transmit message to Earth Command," he ordered. "Subject, Operation Dawnfall. Phase 1 complete." The officer hesitated. "Sir, the name, does this mean we're—" "It means," Hale interrupted, "that humanity will no longer wait for others to decide its fate." As the message was sent, Hale looked out the window one last time. The stars looked different now, colder, quieter, as if they were waiting for what came next. He spoke softly, almost to himself. "Let them wonder. Let them fear. The galaxy has forgotten who we are," and with that, the fleet vanished into the black sea of stars, leaving behind a galaxy that had never felt so small. Somewhere, deep in that silence, the universe seemed to exhale, whispering a truth only a few would understand. When humanity leaves, the stars hold their breath. Weeks passed after the humans' departure, but the silence they left behind only grew heavier. The once busy trade lanes between worlds slowed down. Fleets that once moved freely now hesitated. Even the great space stations that never slept felt emptier. The galaxy, for the first time in centuries, felt uncertain. Rumors spread faster than light. Some said the humans had gone back to Earth to prepare for war. Others said they had found something ancient, something powerful, beyond the outer rim. Every story added a new layer of fear. In the Reland capital, the council gathered to discuss the strange quiet. The leaders stood around a glowing map of the galaxy, and every dot that once represented a human ship was gone. "They left without a trace," whispered the Reland speaker, her voice trembling. "No signal, no word. Not even their colonies are responding." "They are hiding," replied the insectoid VAR general. His wings twitched nervously. "Humans do not run, they plan." The Reland speaker looked at him sharply. "Plan what? Revenge?" The general did not answer. He only stared at the empty section of the map marked Sol territory, now covered with a thin red border labeled Restricted Zone. Across the galaxy, the absence of humans began to change everything. Old rivalries started to rise again. The Karth Dominion, who had long feared humanity's growing influence, began expanding into neutral zones. They attacked a small moon that once traded with Earth colonies. When no one came to stop them, they attacked again. The Nathari Union tried to protest, but without the humans' voice, their words meant nothing. The humans had been the balance, the unspoken power that made everyone behave. Now that they were gone, that balance was crumbling. Meanwhile, in the farthest reaches of the galaxy, a lone Reland scout ship drifted through the dark. It had followed faint signals, strange transmissions on human frequencies. The crew, led by Captain Sirakor, had spent weeks tracking the signals until they reached a dead star near the edge of the known universe. As their ship approached the orbit, their scanners detected something impossible. Massive metal structures hung in the void, surrounding the dying star like silent guardians. Gigantic shipyards, human in design, were being built. Thousands of drones worked tirelessly, assembling vessels larger than anything seen before. Syra stared at the sight in shock. By the stars, "They are building a fleet." Her second officer swallowed hard. "A fleet?" "No, Captain. That looks like a city." The main structure at the center glowed with a slow pulsing light. The energy readings were off the charts. It was like the humans were building something that could power entire worlds or destroy them. Before they could send a transmission back, their radar lit up. A formation of human stealth cruisers appeared from the void, their engines silent, their weapons inactive but ready. "Unknown vessel. This is Captain Syra Kor of the Reland Scout Corps. We come in peace," she said quickly, activating a communication channel. For a long moment, there was only static. Then a deep human voice came through. "You should not have come here." The voice was calm, but every word carried weight. Syra tried to reason. "Please, we only wish to understand." "The galaxy is worried," the voice interrupted her. "Worry is natural. What comes next depends on what you do with it." And then the transmission ended. The human ships moved closer, surrounding the Reland vessel. Their hulls gleamed like obsidian in the dim light of the dying star. One of Syra's crew whispered, "They are warning us to leave." Syra's hands trembled slightly as she gave the order. "Prepare for jump. We have seen enough." Just as they activated their engines, a bright flash filled the viewport. Every system on their ship shut down for 3 seconds. When power returned, all traces of the human fleet were gone. The coordinates they had recorded were corrupted. It was as if none of it had ever existed. When Syra's damaged vessel finally returned to the Relan capital, her report was marked as classified and buried. The council pretended it never happened, but rumors spread anyway. Humans had built something beyond the stars, something they called Project Helios. Across the galaxy, fear began to grow into paranoia. The Karth Dominion doubled their fleets. The Var Dominion began scanning border systems for human activity. Some races even evacuated colonies near old human territories, afraid of a silent return. Yet, despite the fear, there was something else. Respect. Even the most arrogant species spoke of humanity with caution. In one council meeting, an old alien philosopher said softly, "They were the only ones who believed peace was worth fighting for. Now that they are gone, we are left to face what we really are." The room fell silent. No one disagreed. Back on the edge of the galaxy, among the shadows of the dying star, the human shipyards continued to grow. Giant mechanical arms extended from station walls, forging new metal giants in complete silence. Inside one of the ships, a human engineer watched the stars outside through a glass viewport. He turned to his commander and said quietly, "They will come looking for us." The commander nodded. "Let them. This time they will not find weakness." The camera pans out to show hundreds of ships taking shape, their glowing engines like hearts beating in the dark. The humans were not rebuilding for peace anymore. They were preparing for something greater, something that would shake the galaxy once again. And far away in the quiet corners of space, whispers began to spread through every station, every ship, every world. The humans are not gone. They are waiting. Months passed since the whispers began, and the galaxy could no longer deny the growing tension. Space traffic slowed to half its normal rate. Council fleets now patrolled the borders between every empire, scanning for any trace of human movement. Still no signal, no message, nothing. Just a quiet void where humanity used to be. But one morning, the silence broke. A coded message was intercepted on the edge of the Nothari trade route. It was short, written in old Earth code, something only a few species could even recognize. It read, "Project Helios, Phase 2 complete." The message spread like wildfire. Within hours, every intelligence agency, every empire, and every shadow broker in the galaxy was talking about it. No one knew what Project Helios meant, but everyone agreed on one thing. It sounded human. The Galactic Council held an emergency session. The chamber was darker now. Many seats were empty. Some races had already withdrawn, fearing that open alliances could make them human targets. The Relan speaker stood once again, her crystal skin dim with exhaustion. "Months of silence," she said, her voice soft but firm. "Now one message, and fear spreads faster than war. We must find out what they are doing." The insectoid Var general slammed a claw on the table. "Find out? They warned us. They told us to leave them alone." The speaker faced him calmly. "And if they are building something that threatens us all?" The Var's wings twitched. "Then it is already too late." Meanwhile, deep in the void beyond the galactic rim, far past the stars the council mapped, the humans were no longer hiding. A group of Karth Dominion probes accidentally entered a forbidden region of space, marked only by drifting satellites with glowing red symbols. When the first probe sent back images, the scientists refused to believe them. The images showed a massive artificial sun, a glowing sphere radiating light across a field of metal. Orbiting this artificial sun were thousands of human ships, organized in geometric perfection. Each vessel was enormous, like floating cities. Between them, mechanical scaffolds and stations stretched like silver veins. And in the center, a structure unlike any seen before. Part ship, part planet. A fortress the size of a moon pulsing with light, its name the Citadel of Helios. It was not just a weapon. It was civilization reborn. The Karth scientists immediately encrypted the data, but their ship never made it back. A beam of light crossed the void and erased them in silence. Yet one image survived. One photograph leaked through a data relay before destruction. It showed a single human vessel standing before the Citadel, its hull bearing a symbol of a burning sun and the words, "We watch in silence." That single image was enough to send waves of fear through every star system. Soon, human signals appeared, short, precise, deliberate. Across multiple frequencies, a single voice began to speak in clear galactic standard. Humanity does not seek war. Humanity does not seek peace. Humanity observes, the message repeated every 12 hours. No threats, no promises, just those same words. In the council, panic turned into division. Some believed humanity was preparing to strike. Others thought they were building a shield, protecting themselves from an unseen enemy. But to the smaller worlds, the colonies that once traded with Earth, the message felt different. Many began to believe humanity had become something beyond politics or greed, something like guardians. In the far sectors, alien ships began to vanish mysteriously. Pirates who once attacked human colonies disappeared without trace. Fleets that crossed into human-marked zones never returned. And yet no wreckage, no signals, nothing, just silence. The galaxy began to understand that humanity's withdrawal was not surrender, it was evolution. Inside the citadel of Helios, Admiral Marcus Hale stood on a glass platform overlooking the glowing sphere below. Around him, engineers and officers worked in perfect synchronization. Data screens showed energy readings rising every hour. A young officer approached him. "Sir, transmission to the outer colonies complete." "All systems stable," Hale nodded. His face was calm, but his eyes were hard. "And the council?" "They are panicking, sir. Some are moving fleets toward the Helios perimeter." "Let them," Hale said quietly. "They need to see. Fear is the first step toward understanding." The officer hesitated. "Understanding what, sir?" "That we never left," Hale replied. "We simply outgrew them." He turned toward the viewing glass as a massive gate opened at the edge of the citadel. Out of the light emerged a ship larger than any ever built, a Leviathan-class carrier capable of holding entire cities inside. Its engines glowed with plasma light, bathing the chamber in gold. The humans watched silently as it took its place among the others. It moved with grace like a predator resting before the hunt. Back in the galaxy, the Council received new images through stolen drones. Every world stared in awe at the sheer scale of humanity's creation. Even the bravest soldiers felt something ancient stir inside them, a quiet, primal fear. One alien leader whispered during a live transmission, "They are not just another race anymore. They have become something else." Soon after, another human message arrived, this time with a face. The hologram of Admiral Hale appeared before the council chamber. His uniform bore no nation flag, only the emblem of the Helios sun. His voice was calm but heavy with certainty. "We offered peace, but you wanted control. We built bridges, but you broke them. Now we stand apart, not as rulers, not as conquerors, but as witnesses. The galaxy has forgotten who we are. It will remember." Then the image faded, leaving the council in silence once more. In that silence, something changed. The galaxy no longer saw humans as equals. They saw them as inevitability, a power too vast to challenge, too quiet to understand. And somewhere beyond the rim, the citadel of Helios turned slowly, its artificial sun glowing brighter. The human fleet stood ready, not for war but for whatever came next. The stars themselves seemed to dim around them as if bowing in respect or fear. Years passed, and the galaxy lived in uneasy silence. Humanity had not returned, yet their shadow loomed over every world. Their message, humanity observes, still echoed through deep space channels, repeating like a ghost in the void. Entire generations grew up hearing it. Some worshipped it, others feared it, but no one ignored it. Without humans, the balance of power had shattered. Wars broke out again, small at first, territorial disputes, trade battles, border clashes, but soon they turned into full conflicts. The Karth Dominion fought the Var Swarm, the Nathari Union broke apart, and the once mighty council fractured into fragments. Each race claimed they fought for peace, yet all fought for control. Still, in the middle of the chaos, rumors persisted, of human ships seen in distant skies, of mysterious rescues in dead space, of colonies saved by unknown fleets that vanished before anyone could thank them. And then one day, everything changed. It began with a scream from the void, a gravitational shockwave so strong that it rattled satellites across 50 systems. Every observatory, every listening post turned toward the source, the Karth Dominion's border world of Ilaris, where an ancient weapon had been discovered. The Karth claimed it was a relic from the old galaxy, a cannon capable of destroying stars. But they had no idea what they had awakened. The weapon came alive on its own. It began charging, feeding on solar energy from nearby stars. In less than an hour, it was ready to fire, its target unknown. The Galactic Council, though broken, scrambled to respond. The Relan speaker, older and weaker now, begged through a broadcast, "If there are still humans among the stars, please, help us." No one expected an answer. Then space itself began to tremble. From beyond the galactic rim, thousands of signals appeared all at once. Human transmissions flooded every frequency. The same words repeated in every language. "This is Admiral Marcus Hale of the Helios fleet. Humanity does not abandon life." The stars lit up. Across the skies of Alaris, hundreds of human warships emerged from hyperspace, their engines burning like suns. The citadel of Helios appeared behind them, a massive glowing sphere casting light across the battlefield. The weapon on Alaris fired a beam of pure destruction, but before it could reach its target, dozens of human ships moved in unison, forming a wall of plasma shields. The beam hit, split, and vanished. The humans did not attack. They dismantled the weapon piece by piece with precision, neutralizing its core without harming the planet below. Billions watched across the galaxy as the fleet worked in silence, efficient, calm, unstoppable. Within hours, the weapon was gone. And then, the humans spoke again. A holographic broadcast appeared in every system, showing Admiral Hale standing beneath the burning symbol of Helios. His voice carried the weight of ages. "We left because you forgot what peace meant. We watched as you turned unity into control, compassion into fear. But when life itself stands at risk, we will act. Humanity does not seek power. We seek purpose." Across the galaxy, every war stopped. Even the most stubborn empires silenced their guns. The sight of the Helios fleet hovering in perfect formation above Alaris became the most powerful image in known history. Admiral Hale continued, his tone calm but final. "The Council is broken, but the galaxy will heal. You will not do it with greed, but with memory. Remember what we taught you, not to rule, but to protect. From this day forward, humanity will not join your wars. But know this, wherever life is threatened, we will come." And then the broadcast ended. The fleet disappeared into hyperspace once more, leaving behind no destruction, only silence, peace, and light. In the weeks that followed, everything began to change. The Karth Dominion dismantled its remaining weapons. The Relans restored their old alliances. Even the Var, once violent, began sending envoys instead of soldiers. It was as if the entire galaxy had finally understood what humanity had meant all along. No one knew where the humans went. Some believed they returned to the Helios citadel, now hidden beyond known space. Others said they had spread across the stars, unseen watchers of a fragile galaxy. On one quiet world under a silver sky, a young alien child looked up at the stars and asked, "Will the humans ever come back?" Her mother smiled faintly. "They never left, child. When the stars move, it means they are watching." Far away in the deep black between galaxies, the Helios citadel drifted silently. Inside its command chamber, Admiral Hale stood before the great window watching the starlight reflect off his fleet. His aide approached quietly. "Sir, reports confirm the galaxy has stabilized. The Council is reforming." Hale nodded. "Good. Will we intervene again?" the aide asked. Hale smiled faintly, his eyes still fixed on the stars. "Only if they forget," the aide hesitated. "Forget what, sir?" "That we are human," Hale said softly. "And that we remember everything." He turned away from the window, the glow of the artificial sun lighting his face. Outside, the ships of Helios glided through the dark, engines dimming as they entered stealth mode. They left behind only starlight, no sound, no trace. For a long time, the galaxy remained quiet. Peace returned, not perfect, but enough. And across 1,000 worlds, people began to whisper an old saying once more. When humanity withdrew, the galaxy held its breath. When they returned, it remembered why. And somewhere beyond the last star, the humans of Helios continued to watch. The stars moved once more, and the galaxy listened,